Councilmember Cosarelli?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Longo?
Here.
Nattari?
Here.
Robel?
Here.
Strumelberg? Present. Mayor Kibble?
Here.
Well, you have a question?
Well, check these at all. Is this thing working, this microphone? People are calling my house. Can't hear me. I can hear you. Oh, is it working?
Yeah. We can't hear
It's
you.
working?
No.
Seriously?
You're sitting a lot closer, Mark.
You gotta be real
Can't
close.
be
speaker.
any
No,
closer.
no, we can hear Steve. We can't
Yeah, you
hear
gotta be close.
Close to it. Yeah. Here.
Gotta sit on it.
Would you have anything to add?
No, sir.
How about now? Yeah?
Yeah, better.
Good.
Better.
It's a bit like.
So before we go to, if we go to fire, you have a discussion on Finkelstein's property. We're not in litigation or,
I just wanted to ask, because I don't really know anything, and I hear people in the public make statements and comments about the property, and I thought I heard that we're in some sort of meetings or something with them, and I was just curious of what that's all about, because I don't know, anything at all. And I hear things all over the place. I just like to know, and if it's close, if there are negotiations or contracts or anything, I figured it was a closed session issue.
Nope.
Are we having meetings with them? Or
Not at all.
conversations? or-
I haven't been at any
No,
meetings.
I'm just asking because.
We had one meeting that I reported on, going back a couple of meetings with the attorneys for those folks. But that's it. We haven't had anything.
So
There's
the
no-
town is not in negotiations with the
No.
Finkelsteins?
No, it's not even, forget about negotiations, not even a discussion at this point.
Do we have anything to say about that property other than planning and zoning?
Nothing other than what's already been said, that, they're still negotiating with the buyer, and that, the Finkelsteins are looking to have commercial sections there so they can.
I think the last we heard, there's supposed to be a couple developers negotiating on their own with Finkelstein.
Yeah.
For the purchase of the property. And
There's
that's-
about 4 different developers all.
I mean, that's, and I didn't hear that official.
And they all thought they're the only developer.
That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Are there some sort of negotiations or, there's a lot of stuff flying right out there about eminent domain and town trying to take it over and all that stuff?
No,
No.
all false. And if there was any discussions or any negotiations going on, I would be compelled to report, but there's nothing to report.
Okay. That's the only reason I wanted
Okay,
to
I-
just clear it up in my own mind as to.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a point of order in response to Mr. Long? Maybe there's some information I can give him that would be relevant.
I'm sorry.
Right. I just want to make a point of order to help Mr. Longo understand what's going on here. This council, Mr. Longo, before you voted to send to the planning board a request to see if that was an area that needed redevelopment. The planning board then, yes, approved it, and Mr. Kennedy was present, that they did declare an area needed redevelopment, and that's where it stands. So it has to come back. So just so you know, there has been action by this council and the planning board in regards to
And
that.
that was months ago, I believe, right, Ben? That it
Yeah, I
was-
think back, if I'm not, October, November,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
somewhere around that.
And I'll tell you
But I want the
specifically,
record to show there has been action by this council and the planning board
there's-
in regard to eminent domain on that
Okay,
property.
thank you, but there's nothing,
specifically the reason why I asked the question is, I hear members of the public make statements, comments, and everything. And then I thought I heard somebody say at the last meeting that we've been in talks with them or meetings with them or something. So I just want to know what's going on. And you're saying it's their property, they're handling whatever they're handling.
Another point of order, Your Honor. This property, the Finkelsteins, are listed in our housing element fair share plan as submitted to the state. Part of our COA requirement that's litigation, being called litigation, and ongoing, that includes 2,000 units of housing on that property as part of your plan for 2493 houses. Between the years of 18 and 21, so 2018 to 21, 500 units a year are scheduled by this council's plan with this housing element fair share plan. Pardon me?
It's a draft, Mr. Mayor.
You submitted it to the
In
courts.
fact, it's not submitted to the courts from that.
Yes, it is.
It's submitted as a possible information to the guy, to
You're
make a decision.
projecting, that's not true.
Project-
That's inaccurate.
It's
You're
currently
projecting
zoned
this as
commercial,
future
which is what we
development.
zoned it for. It's currently zoned commercial.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
point- I appreciate the information. My specific question just was, are we in any sort of negotiations as a council, the manager or the mayor, with the
I think you would have to
Finkelsteins
ask
on
the
anything?
manager,
Well, that's
and he
right.
says
And he
no.
says no,
No.
you
And
said no.
I
So
haven't had
I'm sure the other issues will come up again, and I'm not, it's just trying to clear up
And it's zoned
in my
commercial.
mind, that's all. Thank you.
No, no more.
No,
Are you going into private session?
no.
You're not? Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have
What?
You have a personnel thing? Okay, then a motion to go to private. I need a motion to go to private.
Second.
Clerk call roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Culver? Yes.
Yes.
And no legal basis for going into private.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sometime notice.
Notice of this meeting has been given to the press and public in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law. And none of this time, Mayor.
Order the manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I have a very brief report this evening. We have 3 resignations. First one is Ralph Cardinal, working in the building department, will be retired as of has retired as of April 1st of this year. Chief Rotunda submitted his resignation effective July 1, and that's because of an age situation. And Carol Tobia will be retiring as of June 30th. The only other item I have this evening is that we were granted $376,000 from the county CDBG program to have 2 streets repaved, Clinton Street, the entire length, and Beach Street from Graylock to Overlook. That's all I have.
Okay, do it.
No?
Yes. Mr. Tucci,
Yes, ma'am.
the other night we had a very bad incident on the end of Heckle Street near Franklin Street. We had a carjacking with a gun, and it really turned out really pretty bad. So I was looking at the lighting, and the lighting is very, very, very poor. We could have the lights there illuminated more. We also got another problem on Sanford Avenue and Watts Essing, the same thing, lighting. So I think that the lights can deter a lot. I try to tell all the residents, keep your porch lights on. Some do, and some don't, I guess because it costs money, but, you know, things are pretty bad, and we all need to stick together to see what we can do to help this. He was a young guy, he just got his car, it was his first night out, and boom, that happened to him. So, thank you.
I'll call PS.
Joe.
Any progress on furnishing the front of the house?
I have the purchasing agent, Sue Whalen, is compiling a list for us of items that are on state contract that we can purchase quickly. Anything else that we would want to put here that's not on her list, once I receive it, we will then go out to bid for it.
Do we have a budget for that, or have we figured out what we have available?
We're going to have to budget for that. We have another expenses budget in recreation, So whatever we can buy out of existing funds, we will. If we need to bond for some of that, we will also do that.
Is anybody other than the soccer team using it yet?
I don't believe so.
I got a call the other night complaining about this microphone. But the second complaint was on Mare Street, New Street and Columbus Avenue. There seems to be some really bad potholes. If that could be looked into, please. And in that same vicinity, apparently there's I haven't had a chance to get over there, but apparently there's a fence that's falling down like into the sidewalk, and it's a real problem. This is Strollo informed me, and I just haven't been able to drive over there and take a look.
I'll go by tomorrow.
Excuse me, is that the one that I reported to you, Marl?
Yes, that was Columbus, and Columbus is in fact slated to be paid for.
Thank you.
I was thinking more about the Silver Lake Firehouse. And first of all, where are we with construction, start dates, and all that?
Plans and specifications are being drawn as we speak, and we expect to have those back shortly and go out to bid.
So at the last meeting, I asked about, did we come up with an idea of what we thought it would actually cost to do the whole thing? You said about $312,000.
Yes, sir.
So that, according to my math, is roughly $50,000 more than we have. Not an enormous amount of money in the scheme of things. So are we going to budget for that, or are we going to bond for that? And should we be thinking about that now so that we don't get to a point and then we get... Because I know what's going to happen, Warren. It's not yours, so don't take this wrong. I know what's going to happen. A year from now, we're going to start working on the roof.
Right.
And then
A year?
a year after that, we're going to start working on... Look how long it's taken now just to get the specifications and to get the bids. We've been talking about this for months and months and months, years. So the problem is, I still think that we should not be doing piecemeal on this thing. I really do think that we should figure out what the whole project's gonna be, make sure we have, because there's a built-in problem now. The built-in problem is, we're 50 grand short, assuming we don't run into any unexpected problems. So,
We've anticipated a phasing. We're starting with the roof and the exterior masonry, all right? We know we don't have enough money, but we're in the budget process now, and we're also calculating what it is we're going to need to bond for tax appeals, for road improvements, for equipment we needed for the friendly house, and what we need for the Silver Lake Firehouse. I can't speak to what went on before January 12th, all right? But I can tell you from what I last reported that we retained an architect. The architect is working on them, all right? As soon as we get the bids back, the plan and specifications, we're going out to bid, and we're going to start the project. And it's not going to be, well, we're going to fix the roof, and we're going to fix the masonry, then we're going to stop, we're going to wait another year, and then we're going to go to the next phase, all right? We're going to roll from one to the other, and in conversations with Mr. Harretts, who is our town engineer, we feel we can have better quality control this way, and we don't have runaway expenses. So that's the plan.
because I still...
I know you're a skeptic, we're going to prove you're
I'm
wrong, Councilman.
not a skeptic, I'm an unbeliever because I've seen. So, that's why I just still don't understand why the whole project can't be put together. What if it didn't exist?
I'm sorry?
What if that firehouse building didn't even exist? We wouldn't phase in one building.
You're right,
And it's a small building at that.
you're right. But it does, and we can do it this way, and in conversation, we feel,
If you
quality
have-
control-wise, this is the best approach.
So if you had to take a guess, when do you think that building could be open again?
It depends, all right? Once we go out to bid, all right, for the roof and for the masonry, all right, the evaluation is going to begin immediately. As soon as this portion is done with these specs, the architect's going to go in, he's going to identify what needs to be done, and do some inspection work to see what's behind the walls. And once we do that, then I can give you a better feel. Right now, it would just be a wild guess.
More or less than a year?
I would think within a year. And again, at this point, it's a guess.
well, make me a believer.
I aim to do that.
Have we had any further movement on shared services with the board heads?
I had another brief meeting with Mr. Egan that Mr. Tomko was supposed to attend, but he was ill, unfortunately, so we're going to reschedule that. I'm just waiting to get together with both of them at the same time.
Have you had a chance to discuss, and I know that there was a lot of upheaval about all this development talk and all these units and how they, at their meeting, brought it up or were upset and all that. Have you had a chance to speak to them about where they may or may not be incorrect in their
Yes.
assumptions?
I spoke with Mr. Egan. Actually, I spoke with him when we had the special meeting right here in this chamber, and I explained to him that there was no intention, all right, to build 2,000 units on the Finkelstein property. The choice of words in the document was semantics on behalf of the planner. It's a planning document. There's no commitment by anyone on this council. There's no commitment on behalf of the Finkelsteins, all right, to build 2,000 units there, all right? What they want is commercial development so they can recoup some of the money that they spent to clean it up, all right? Would I have used the word projected? Probably not. But again, that was the planner's choice. I think it would have been much more palatable, all right, if they said, how she said, possible. All right, but there are no plans, there's not even a buyer on the horizon. Our understanding is that they're speaking with several groups that want to buy it, but we have no information at this point as to what the status is or whether or not they're going to consummate a deal.
So we're clear on some of that. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Mauro, we had the active shooter training on Friday over at the high school, and I got a lot of compliments from directors of other agencies. Just want to pass that along to you and the police and fire department. I know you guys did a great job, and you know, it's hopefully that never actually has to happen over here in Belleville, but if it does, I know, you know, our guys are good.
Yes, thank you. Our men are in fact ready.
Yes, thank you.
And
That's ready, and I want to echo it.
I will pass it on.
Communications on the rest.
A communication received from the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation stating the township has been selected to receive funding from the 2016 Municipal Aid Program for Mount Pleasant Avenue and Bernice Road in the amount of $295,885. The request received from the Nutley Belleville Columbus Day Parade Committee for permission to conduct the parade route in the township on Sunday, October 9th, beginning at noon.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
C, request received from the Belleville High School Parents Association for permission to conduct a tag day on Sunday, April 17th from 9 to 1 at local businesses.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Ordinance for introduction.
Ordinance number 1 for introduction, bond ordinance providing for amounts paid in budget year 2015 to others for taxes levied in and by the township of Belleville in the county of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $1,293,305, therefore authorizing the issuance of $1,293,305 notes of the township to finance the cost thereof.
Make a motion, move for introduction.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Ordinance for public hearing, second.
Ordinance number 1 for public hearing, an ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, Chapter 8-8, designated loading zones.
Make a motion, move it for public hearing.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Clarification, I see that you designated Geralman and Valley Street and these specific areas. How does it change?
This is for in front of Riverside Auto Body, so he can get his parts delivered and stuff.
Right, the loading zone.
Also, it's gonna widen an area for loading zone?
No, they're just gonna put loading zone signs in front of his business, so the ones that are up the block parking in front of his business, they don't have to go up there and bang on the door and get them to come out, move their
Okay.
cars.
Thank you.
Just in front of Riverside, how many parking spaces they want to?
Whatever they have in front of their building.
Well, it's Riverside, the tire and the auto body.
No, the auto body.
The auto body place. Well, you know, I'm ready to do that because I go to have my car repaired down there. But I wish you people, I know some retired, to get up, go down on Valley Street, 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, and all day long. You cannot get through, you cannot park on Valley Street. And thank God, because it just proved that business and commercial come to the Valley. All those trucks down there, the employees come to work, they're parked on the railroad tracks all over. So I asked you, you know, this is a classic example of how congested we are in Belleville. And we welcome commercial ones. So you gotta watch out with the housing and all and drink more. But something's gotta be done, and you people gotta start buying property like Mr. Tucci knows what they've done in Nutley. A little piece of property come available for parking on this street and that street, and they got it all over the town. So you can, businesses can happen. And it's sickening, right? Washington Avenue, a young couple
Speak on
just,
the ordinance, please.
this is on the ordinance.
No, you
Because
spoke about
there's
parking
no,
all over town.
well, this is on the ordinance, right here next to my lot, a young couple just moved to Texas last week. They got tired of not being able to park, you know, they've got 2 cars, no way to park, they park on Valley Street, it's impossible to see the bullet hole in the trucks. So what I'm asking is pay attention, and I'm glad you're doing it. The businesses can't survive, so he needs a loading zone. But you gotta start buying some property to help with the merchants in this town exist.
Close public hearing, move for final adoption.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes.
Make a motion, open up public participation.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Mrs. Freeman,
Phyllis Frantantoni on Prospect Avenue. I want to ask a question. Up at the rec house, we have a bathroom facilities up there. Now, we paid over $100,000 or so to put them in. They're never open. Anytime I go up there with my grandchildren and they have to use the facility, you have a porta-john. Why are we paying for a porta-johns when we have a bathroom that's not open?
because I would imagine we'd have to pay somebody to maintain it. We get that rec house all the time, overtime.
Yeah, but I've been to other facilities that have recreation facilities and the bathroom's open. They don't have somebody in there taking care of it. Somebody periodically might stop in there. They don't sit there and watch it. I mean, they have games up there constantly and all, and you gotta pay
If
for
you
a
remember, they used to
porta-john.
light the porta-johns on fire up there. I could imagine what they might do if they get in the building.
Well, then you shouldn't have built it.
Okay.
You shouldn't have built it. You should have saved us over $100,000
Well, there's other
and
people
not
that use
built
it
it.
during the daytime.
The daytime, it's not used either. It's locked. It's not open.
When there's people in there, it's locked?
When I go up there with my grandchildren, they have to use that bathroom, it is locked. It is not open. And I don't go at night because they're little. They're 3 years old. So it's not open, and this has been going on for the past few years, not only now.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask, what's going on with the library? When will it be open, done?
I wish I could tell you, Mrs. Frantantoni. I think they're in the process of fining the contractor $500 a day for not finishing.
Because, I mean, we don't need, we didn't need a library that would have like Taj Mahal or whatever you want to call it. Go to Bloomfield, go to Nutley, go to Lyndhurst, go to North, they got a library that's got books. That's what we needed. We don't need this elaborate thing.
Well, it started and it has to
It's
be finished.
ridiculous. I really, it just hurts me that it's been going
Me
on so
too.
long and we're spending
Me
all
too.
that money and it doesn't even look nice from the outside. And then you're talking about the Finkelstein property. Across the river, BJ's is going in there. It's been, I mean, they consumed the property, and I called them, and they're opening in September. I mean, we got property, and nothing gets developed, it just lays there. And I don't understand it for years and years and years and years. Something's wrong, something's gotta be done to correct the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mattingly. Jeff Mattingly, 56 Walnut. The housing element fair share plan, I have certification here that's on record, on file in the courts that Council Murphy is certifying, as well as Darlene Green, the plan and the extension of the plan. Inside the plan draft, Councilman Rovell suggested that there's no obligation. This is this is just arbitrary numbers. It may not mean anything at all to the township. However, there are built-in incentives for these 2,493 residential units over the next 5 years. There's increased density and reduced floor area ratios. It includes the use of redevelopment. Belleville is fully developed, it designates. The designation of Silver Lake as a transit village around the North Light Rail. Washington Avenue, 24 units, high density. Vast areas of industrial property in the valley designated as being reassigned residential status. 24 units an acre, even higher in some cases. That is brick and steel. That is high density development, including the valley. At last meeting, basically council accused us of phony accusations and no requirement, whereas you're submitting detailed plans unless they have changed in the actual submission of how you intend to develop this property over the next 5 years. That basically is 2,500 new units. That's not 2,500 new people, that's units. Who knows how many people that could bring in and in what areas. Also opening us up, once this is approved, should it get approved by a judge, to builders' remedies, where we can be held accountable as a town for our plans as submitted and approved by a court. The idea that this is going on for over a year in private session and is discussing an affordable housing obligation that directly involves the public has been labeled by Murphy as an administrative process. There is no litigation. It's circumvented. The idea that in these documents it's shown that 31 different entities have been CC'd on these plans. This includes builders and our own local lawyers, attorneys for this type of thing that goes through planning and zoning, including multiple other lawyers who certainly could represent who knows how many developers. So the idea here is that we already have a 7.3 vacancy rate from 2013. 44% of our housing is renters, and as owner-occupied. 13,900 dwelling units, 55% are owner-occupied. Basically, 38% of those are houses. And so it suggests here that there is a dense development already has occurred in Belleville, and there may be no need whatsoever for a third portion to this project to create a liability going forward. Here is the fair share housing response to submissions that are in the court documents. First, it says it's not possible to default against the FSHC. Second, it says there has been no determination made regarding whether the municipality has a third round prospective need. Furthermore, third, no hearing at which time Belleville has had with the public for compliance. Your meeting that you held for the compliance to include the public was a sham. You provided no information. Yet this has been disseminated to 31 different interested parties along the way. The Belleville citizens are an interested party. The school district is an interested party. This is ridiculous. It's a sham. You're filling the requirements of this, and it's circumvented the public and is in the final phase. Fourth, on this reason that is given, is that there is no master review in Belleville's fair share compliance. Additionally, a master probably should be appointed as a matter of course in any case where a developer is the only party representing lower income persons. I predict that's exactly where this is going. and that a developer is going to be the one who is going to hold Belleville accountable to what we submit and may be well approved by a judge. And we all know that you can be held captive to your own documents once they're passed. You can be held accountable to it.
Once they're passed.
Once they're passed. So I would like to ask Councilman Rovell or anyone else, have these numbers changed in terms of that 2,493 units on the actual form, because I'm being accused of reading a draft.
Through the chair, Jeff,
Please.
it is zoned commercial. We made it zoned commercial. It is still commercial. It is not changing.
You have a map on this that suggests otherwise, Councilman.
Jeff, that's not a map that we created. That's a consultant that came here and said, hey, this is a possibility that you need to explain to the judge.
Well,
Possibility.
it's not labeled as a possibility. It's labeled as a forward intention.
All right, let me answer that.
Pardon? You're going to answer? Okay.
Number one, there's nothing in front of the planning board. There's nothing in front of us. We did have something come to us many months ago. We turned it down. It is commercially zoned. It will remain commercially zoned.
Well, it will remain commercially and industrial zones to include residential is what the map indicates. All along the entire length of Washington, including vast sections of properties in the valley. And in fact, this fair share plan even has to show that in your future plans, what ability do you have to give employment to these people? You're converting lands that could potentially employ people to lands that will now require more employment need. It's counterproductive, it's in the wrong direction, and I would ask Councilman one question through the chair. You please, is this changed, or are these plans still in place on what is under judicial review?
It's not a plan. It's a proposal to the judge. It's not a plan.
If he approves it, is it still there?
He's not gonna approve it. He's using this for evidence to figure out what our need is.
Yeah, but this isn't our need. This is a future projection on the council's part.
It's a possible. Go ahead. Finish.
Possible? I'm sorry, Councilman, it's specific.
Take it easy.
That's a plan, where that number is included is a planning document, it's part of the submission. If we were to choose the language that went into that and not the planner, we probably wouldn't have put projected, because there is no commitment on behalf of this governing body, nor on behalf of the owner, to put 2,000 units on that property. It would have been, let me finish, it would have been better worded if she put possible instead of projected. It's a planning document. We're not held to that. As you well know, the Finkelsteins do not want 2,000 units of residential development on that property because they're looking to recoup some of the money that they spent to
Who used
clean
to
it up.
recoup it? We don't need residential in the valley.
You're right.
Thank you, Jeff. Time's up. Listen.
Put potential on it.
Wait a minute. Listen carefully to me. Yeah, I'll call on the people that raise their hands. I'm not calling on you.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Mary Higgins, 148 Brighton Avenue. Good evening. I would like to thank Mayor Kimball for always giving us good advice. He said if we see suspicious activity, we shouldn't hesitate to call the police. That's exactly what we did last Tuesday on April 5th. A group of people in the First Ward noticed a New York license truck parked at the corner of Harrison and North Avenue. They called the Belleville police and the Bloomfield police. The driver was selling little pit bull puppies out of the back of his truck. The Belleville police arrived quickly, inspected the situation, and let the driver go with the puppies. When asked why the driver was let go, the officer responded that the puppies would be better off being sold than being taken to be gassed, I guess in Newark. Belleville, I believe, subcontracts animal services to Newark. That raised an alarm along with the recent event of 70 puppies being abandoned in Paramus. Stories of puppies being sold as bait for dog fights in Newark, or being dumped somewhere if they weren't sold. I called the Belleville police to find out why the driver had been let go without a summons or a warning ticket. The police desk officer told me to call the Bloomfield Police Department as they were handling it. So I called the Bloomfield dispatcher, and she said no, Belleville had taken care of it. In the meantime, the people on the street were upset because of the welfare of the puppies. I sent an email letter outlining the incident to Mauro Tucci, our interim town manager, that night, April 5th. The automated response is that it would be answered in one business day. The next day, no answer, so I sent a second email. Same automated reply, it would be answered the next business day. Today, I stand here before you 5 business days later. I have yet to get a response. No phone calls, no emails, nothing. Because my neighbors were naturally upset about the incident, they kept asking me, "Did you hear from Mr. Tucci?" And I had to say no. And for those of you who grew up in Belleville, this isn't like the good old days when families would put a box of puppies on the lawn, free to good homes, because the neighborhoods used to be stable. You knew who lived there and could trust that the puppies would go to good hands. Nowadays, with overdevelopment of high-density rental units, you don't know who your neighbors are, and you don't see puppies put on lawns anymore. So naturally, all kinds of red flags were raised when people saw somebody, the New York State truck, selling puppies out of the back of his pickup truck. Since I still had not received an answer from Mr. Tucci yesterday, I took it upon myself to see Detective Schwint of Internal Investigations. He was on vacation, so I left a letter and asked him if he could get back to me. Sure enough, Detective Schwint was very responsive. I want to commend him publicly. He called me up this morning to explain what happened. The Belleville police last Tuesday arrived quickly after the call, and even the truck, although it had New York license plates, the driver was a young man who lived in Bloomfield. The puppies were well taken care of by the looks of them, and he wanted to sell them. The police officers told him he couldn't sell them without a license, and rather than them impounding the puppies, which in my opinion would have been a bad mistake, with them ending up in possibly a kill shelter in Newark, they sent him on his way. The Bloomfield police didn't have a car available, so the Belleville police showed up and took care of the whole problem. I have the utmost respect for the Belleville police in our area. They always respond quickly to calls made for suspicious vehicles, cars blocking driveways, and street fights. However, this whole incident caused much stress last week to those neighbors of mine who witnessed this and who care about the welfare of defenseless puppies. It could have been avoided if Mr. Tucci had addressed the matter in a timely fashion. Mr. Tucci said that he was available to the public at any time and would respond to problems immediately. This clearly did not happen, no contact. As interim town manager, Mr. Tucci is in charge of all departments, including the police department. I'm just an ordinary citizen, and based on his word, I trusted him and expected him to follow up. Instead, I spent about 10 hours between last week and yesterday trying to find out what happened. It wasn't until this morning that I finally knew by my conversation with Detective Schwint. No help from Mr. Tucci, no phone calls, no emails. Now, we all know that Mr. Tucci's a very busy man. You know, it's election time. You know, this election campaign as Nutley Town Commissioner, as witnessed by the huge billboard signs all over Nutley. He is also very busy with his $100,000 a year county job and probably running to the bank to deposit checks from his $50,000 county pension, his pool company, and his $139,500 as interim town manager.
Stop being on personal attack.
All right, it's not a personal attack, I'm just stating the facts. Which one of those facts isn't true?
All right, you're 5 minutes.
All right, I'll get
left.
to the point. Can I just conclude this?
Please get to the point.
I'm getting to the point. All right, this is a good point. Mr. Tucci previously said that he could use his political connections for the public good in Belleville. My suggestion is that something be done, possibly between Nutley and Belleville, to open a jointly managed animal shelter and not subcontract out to Newark. There is plenty of space in the valley, for instance, that could accommodate this, such as the Finkelstein property. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mayor, may I just respond to one point of that? And all your information is not correct, and I do understand it is election season. That's why we get all this oratory lately. Let me just say this to you. Number one, I was never made aware that you sent me any information about any puppies in a box. If you did, I would have acted on it immediately. If you know me or know anyone that knows me, I'm a dog lover. I have 2 of my own. I volunteer at the Bukowski shelter in Bloomfield and anywhere else that I can. I will find out why it wasn't brought to my attention, all right? And disciplinary action, if necessary, will be taken against those who did not inform me. As for the rest of your comments, some are true, some are not true.
Which are not true.
Good luck in the election.
Which are not
Thank
true.
you, Mayor.
No, he's accusing me of lying. Which are not true, Mr. Tucci.
Ma'am,
I wanted to go on record. He called me a liar, and he's going to be held responsible for it.
Okay, Mrs. Higgins.
Rosina Cropper, from the 24 Columbus Avenue. Excuse me. The day before Easter, I went and traded my car in, and then I got a new one because I was getting expired. The day after Easter, I got hit in the back while I was driving on Gerald Street. It was raining. All at once, we pulled on the side, me and another driver, and I had to call the police. So when I took the car out from the dealer, I had to make sure, everything went under controller, temporary registration, temporary insurance of the car and everything. Okay, this cop, you talking about federal cop, this is that. I got so mad that I wanted to strangle him, excuse me. Give me your license and registration. So I'm explaining to the officer, he's giving me a ticket through the mail. I said, listen, I am a lease, I'm just coming out. I said, this is everything temporary until I get the rest of it. He did not want to hear a thing. I said to myself, he must be drunk or something. I said, officer, this is temporary registration. This is my license, and this is insurance, temporary, death tax from the insurance to the dealer. No, I don't want to know nothing. I want your ID from the insurance company. I said, sir, I just got out from the dealer. What do you want me to do? Can you give me 2-3 days at least? No, he didn't want to know nothing. He said, go ahead, Ms. Capola. You go in the car. Are you okay? I trusted him. Next thing that I know, I received this stupid thing, excuse my language, in my mail. I called the office, and she says to me, I'm sorry, you have to see the judge. You cannot pay this ticket. I said, what for? Anyone take no for an answer?
That's the rules.
Excuse me?
That's the rules.
But, Counselor, I had read everything. Why you wouldn't accept?
You gotta bring it to court.
You have to bring it to court.
You bring it to court and show the
We
judge.
came to the court this morning. He was not here,
Who wasn't here?
the officer. And then I went to see first I saw the judge, okay? With my license and the ID from the insurance. And she sent me to the prosecutor, who went over there. She says to me, Ms. Coppola, let's make a deal over here. Otherwise, you're going to go on a trial. I said, but I had this. The cop didn't want to accept. This is not fair. That's the first time it's going to happen this to me. All the time ago, I went on lease and with temporary document, nothing happened to me. Now, this, excuse my language, that's a pissed off I am. Comes in, is take me to court.
Well, the
No
only
reason
thing
at all.
I can think of is
What's
when
the
the police
outcome?
The outcome?
The outcome.
The outcome it was that we made a deal with the prosecutor over there, and he says to me, go and plead guilty, and then I am going to waive it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pay $185.
So you waived it?
Okay, for the ticket. So now he says, you plead guilty, I'm going to waive this money, and I'm going to charge you just for the court $30.
So that's what happened?
That's what happened.
Okay.
Now, this is adjusted for the cops to do this.
Yeah, I don't know why you pled guilty?
I have to, I had no other choice. He gave it to me a good deal.
Okay, Miss.
He said, if you're not plead guilty, you go on a trial. And you're going to lose anyway.
All right, we can't settle that here.
No. What I'm asking, these cops, they don't accept the temporary registration of
They
temporary
accepted, but
insurance
maybe your
card.
insurance wasn't good.
I'm sorry?
Maybe your insurance didn't come through, and if you didn't have an insurance
No,
card.
I had
Okay,
it.
I don't know the case, and I can't settle, I can't tell you what the answer is. So-
I'm talking about what kind of cops are
Yeah.
in Belleville.
Well,
That
someone
was
just
a
said we had
break for
good
me.
cops, now you're saying we got bad cops. I don't know, we got good cops.
Hey, Mara, can you get the number off her ticket and find out what the actual story is?
I am pissed off at this.
I can't understand why you would plead guilty if you're not guilty.
He had given me no other choice.
That's not how it works, they don't give you a choice.
Sir, if I would not plead guilty, he was going to put me on trial.
Okay.
Well, then because you mustn't have a
And then
proper
they would have found you not
document.
guilty and you wouldn't have
You wouldn't have to pay.
He says, well, if you didn't have this card over there, probably you're going to lose anyway. And I'm going to pay more money.
So the prosecutor turned them in.
Thank you, ma'am.
He's gonna check up on you, Ms. Capola.
Thank you.
Is this going to be solution of this Belleville cop? Just come around and collect money for us? It's
Find out
not
what's
fair.
true, what the whole
They're
story
gonna
is.
find out what the story is, Ms. Capola.
Would you please?
Yes.
It was a trick for me that day.
Thank you, thank you.
All right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Maybe the cop was there.
Thank you. Carmela Fleisch from 132 Franklin Street, Belleville. Mr. Tucci, I left you a message the other day, last week. I spoke to the young lady who answered the phone, who did not realize what the address was to the closed firehouse. That's ironic, because there's an alarm going off in the firehouse. It's been beeping for about a week and a half. You know, like I said, I spoke to your secretary, she said she would let you know. Obviously, she didn't let you know because it's still going off, okay? Now, as I've been yelling at this lovely council for the last, 7, 8, 10 years it seems like, I've had it up to here. We've heard this time and time and time again. It's gonna be done, it's gonna be rebuilt, it's gonna be reopened. Enough is enough. I've said this at the last couple of meetings. Enough is enough. I understand that you've been, working on it and blah, 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 but nothing is getting done.
Miss, there is a process that the town has to
Excuse me,
take.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
Well, you're
please.
saying nothing's being done.
But it is nothing is
There's
being
a process
done.
that has to be taken.
Right, but the process has been going on for the last year and a half.
No, well, now, we're getting an architect to see.
Right, we had an architect.
Well, evidently we didn't,
Okay, well.
because you didn't come up with plans.
Right.
You don't have any plans.
But what this council, what you guys allowed to happen is it gets dragged on for months and months.
Well,
how difficult is it to draw up a plan? Please, I understand, it's a process, okay? But, now, we've heard that the plans are being drawn up, we've heard that the architect has been hired, we've heard this, we've heard that, we've heard that. It was the construction was supposed to allegedly start 2.5 weeks ago, according to the last story in the Observer. Okay, it was supposed to start don't give me that look, it was supposed to start the end of the end of March. We're in the middle of April. Okay, I personally hold every single person in this council responsible for the hood Belleville is becoming. Okay, we've had a flower pot stolen off of our own property, and I understand that's nothing. Okay, we have a carjacking now, and now we got.
Well, if you think Belleville's going to be free of crime, you're in a dream world.
I'm not saying it's going to be free of crime, Mr. Mayor. I'm just saying it's turning into a hood.
Okay.
When we came here many years ago, it was a nice little town. We had a fire department that was open. When people see a fire department that is open, it deters the stupidity that goes on in this world. Come into our neighborhood. Come spend the night at the closed firehouse and see what happens. See how many people drive around on Franklin, down Magnolia, as they're turning onto Magnolia the wrong way. You don't care. You sit up there and you say, yes, we're going to do this, you're going to do that. You're not going to do jack. Just admit it now. You're not going to do anything. I will be thrilled.
Your 5 minutes is up and something will be done.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Franklin.
If the architect for the firehouse is the same one that's from the library, we're in big trouble.
Or the person that's going to build it, right, Mr. Franklin?
Regard to the Fair Share, the Affordable Housing Act and all, what Jeff is referring to, the letter from the Fair Share Housing Center. Number one, they put in their letter that the Belleville ultimately, there'd be a declaration that's in compliance with the Mount Laurel Doctrine. Then it goes on to say that the Fair Share Housing Center is not a defendant in this action, has not been formally served, and no relief is sought against it. This is simply a group of developers that put this group budget up front for them. And then their last paragraph, we would welcome the opportunity to consider a settlement agreement with Belleville. There's no settlement agreement with Belleville. What they want to do, they want to establish the municipality's fair share, all on the benefit of developers. Stay away from the Fair Share Housing Center. It's nothing but a front for developers who try to go in and work with you to create a lawsuit to benefit them. So stay away from the Fair Share Housing Center. They admit in their own letters, they got nothing to do with this case. Nothing at all, you know. Now, the, Mr. Tucci,
Yes, sir.
through the chair, where's the budget?
Budget's not ready yet, Mr. Frantantoni.
Okay. Through the chair, Mr. Rovell, you wrote your letter. The public has a right to know where your money's being spent. Why don't you, as elected official, put the pressure to get a budget introduced? Not passed,
Yeah. We
introduced.
can introduce a budget, but I think what Laurel's trying to do is get us as close to the real budget as possible. I mean, we can introduce a zero budget today, and maybe it's not the right one.
Would
So I
you-
know he's working with Mr. Capone and...
You have to
CFO.
review the budget, but you elected officials cannot review a non-existent budget. He's got to introduce it by state law by March 18th. Then you have something to work with. He's not giving you anything, or the citizens anything to work with yet. He needs to be disciplined. Somebody's got to take it. He's got to, state law, it's not my opinion. And it's extended a year. It used to be in February. This year they extended to March 18th.
I'm
He's
just
got to
wondering
get
how
the
many
budget.
towns I've introduced to already.
Mr. Kimball, you know I say newspapers. You know, I get the record. Every single day, in fact today, 2 more towns introduced it. They're having their public hearings in so many towns already on these budgets. The county introduced their budget, the state introduced their budget. And now that the hearings are going to be held. I give you dozens, that's a question you shouldn't have asked me, because you know I answer. Dozens and dozens of communities have done it.
Out of 548 towns, dozens and dozens are not bad.
I've went to my first town meeting in 1968, a year after I bought my houses. I've watched and attended almost every meeting in those 48 years, and I've watched a lot of town attorneys in their actions. What I can't believe is what I saw last Tuesday. We had the assistant township attorney, Mr. Kandari, and the township attorney, Mr. Murphy, running a political campaign. I went there. Mr. Kandari was the host, and he's giving directions on everything of how to put up signs, how to fill out absentee ballots and all. You then have a town employee who's giving instructions how to fill out, and then you have the town attorney, Mr. Murphy, stand up. And Mr. Murphy, with his lovely oratory skills, which is, a lot of it is fairy tales, he's complaining about the citizens who've been coming to the meetings criticizing his affordable housing plans. And again, the prefabricator, he made up something else. At one meeting, he stood there and said the Board of Ed, needs $65 to $85 million. Last Tuesday, he upped it. I don't know where he got his figures. He says the Board of Ed's going to need $90 million to fix up this school. And that's why this affordable housing thing, we're going to raise money for it. Well, I have the affordable housing ordinance that you introduced. And at the end, it says where the money's being spent. Not one single word in that ordinance say it's going to be spent in the schools. So I don't know, but I was just dumbfounded. I wasn't facing you, but I had to turn around and stare him in the eyes. And Councilman Cosarelli, Councilman Rovell, and Councilman Natari conveniently left again, the same thing he did when Mr. Murphy got up to speak last week. Not one of them said a word. They were the candidates. And all we had was 2 town attorneys and public employees running this campaign. This is, I'm sure it's got to be, it's not illegal, it's definitely an ethics violation. And one of the former board attorneys for the Board of Education, I know you formed an investigative committee, was disciplined. He was found guilty of ethics violation for getting involved with elections. This was blatant. This was blatant and open in a public place. And I believe you were there that night, Mr. Mayor.
I was there, and I tell you, I wouldn't have let you win if that was my meeting.
Well, it was advertised, the word went out that it was open to the public, all right?
I was a working campaign.
So, this is there. And then Mr. Murphy said he's criticizing the people, the guy who's controlling the Board of Education, and he had a guy from Bloomfield making all the decisions for the Board of Education. And now, and I told him to his face, now we got a guy from Little Silver running this council and all that. I've never seen an attorney.
Thank you.
And just a final thing, I just want to give some help
No,
to
because your
the
final
county.
thing's gone for
They
10
get this
minutes.
is fourth statement. The councilman and woman who are running for re-election, I want to help you with your campaign.
No,
I hope
Ben, that's
you're
it.
putting your bullets.
Ben.
Tell the people you increased municipal tax 100%. You lied about senior housing. You denied the children the use of the friendly house for over a decade, and you failed to clean and reline the water mains
Thank you,
in this township.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you for your support.
Good evening, Michael Sheldon, 47 Floyd Street. I'd like to touch upon the discussion between Ms. Higgins and Mr. Tucci about the apparent difficulty in communicating between one another. It's my understanding that Ms. Higgins used the online contact form. I have a number of contact forms on the township website so that residents can target specific offices in the town hall. It turns out that about a year ago when I set up these forms, Kevin Esposito asked me to send any of the town manager contacts directly to Roe. Now, Roe is a consummate professional. She's a great asset to the township, but it is the fact that any of the email that Ms. Higgins may have tried to send to Mr. Tucci did not go directly to Mr. Tucci. They went to Ms. Tuasto. And for whatever reason, she may have been out on vacation, personal days, illness, they may not have gotten to him yet. But if Mr. Tucci would like, I can change the address. And
Please
so from
redirect them to
this
me.
point, I'll have them both go to you and to Ms.
That
Tuasto.
would be fine,
So there'd
thank
be backup duplicity. I'll make that change this evening. The other thing that Ms. Higgins, I appreciate she brought this to my attention. Last month or so, a lot of major ISPs, including Comcast and Microsoft, have upgraded their security protocols so that when websites try to send email back to a given user, a lot of that email now is being targeted as spam. And it either goes to your spam or junk folder. In the case of Outlook and Microsoft, they're just blocking it altogether. They're just trashing it, sending it off into the ether. I've made a lot of changes over the weekend to those protocols, and most of that email now should be getting to people, but I'm going to ask Ms. Higgins to, again, she's my helper in this matter to make sure those forms are working properly, but everything should be good from this point on. The other thing I wanted to mention, I don't think Mr. Tucci mentioned this during his manager report, but just as a reminder, this weekend is the big baseball and softball opening day at the Municipal Stadium at 9:30. I just checked the weather forecast on the Weather Channel website, and the weather's going to be perfect, mid-60s, sunny all day on Sunday, so just wanted to remind everyone of that. Thank you. Thank you.
Rick Mafucci, 61 Continental Avenue. I may be in the minority here, but on a positive note, thank you all for the shredding truck on Saturday. It was the easiest 30 pounds I ever lost.
Make a motion, close public hearing.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo? Yes. Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Make a motion, move the consent agenda.
Second.
Number one. Number one.
Just one?
Move it.
I'll second this, Council, on this consent agenda.
Okay. Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yeah, Mauro, there's a bill on the bill list for $2,200 for Finelli Consulting Engineering. What did they do?
They're one of our...
I know what they are, I know what they are.
I
What
don't know
did they do?
offhand, I will find out.
Well, then I want to pull it until we find out what it's about, because I didn't see it when I went through the bills.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to approve the payment of the bills excluding vendor number F6352,
How much is it for?
$2,200.
Is that a capital?
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes.
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kibble?
Yes. New business?
Resolution authorizing the amendment to the temporary capital budget for the township of Belleville. I move it.
Second.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Yes?
Longo?
Yes.
Nattari?
Yes.
Robel?
Yes.
Strumelberg?
Yes.
Mayor Kimball?
Yes. Any other new business, Kevin?
Not me.
The only thing that I would like to say is, number one, I believe wholeheartedly, and my dream is to have the Civil Lake Firehouse renovated. And I am going to accept every council member that said they will go for it. And I'm going to put my trust and faith in all of you, including our town manager. So I just want to go on record saying that. No one wants the Civil Lake Firehouse more than I do. Thank you.
Mr. and Mrs. Flesh. John, you have anything for new business?
I just don't want to be confused. That was not, my skepticism or unbelief has nothing to do with you. It has to do with just the way things tend to be sometimes.
No, I'll take the credit for my skepticism. It's all on me.
You can have mine too.
I'll be more than happy to take it.
So it's not, I understand, I'm here since January and Budapesh County just feels like things tend to fester and take too long sometimes. Especially something like a firehouse.
I understand, thank
Vin? Thursday, May 26th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Essex County College. There's going to be a job fair. So I know a lot of people are always asking if there's any jobs available, but the county's having a job fair. I think we have these posters put up around town hall, so if anyone's interested. May 26th, 10 to 3.
Just two quick things. On Sunday at 11 o'clock in Bloomfield, the opening day for the Challenger League for Marge Franco and those people.
Yes.
So just remember that. And I know May is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so just spread awareness. Thank you. I'm done.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Belleville has an estimated 10.9% unemployment.